What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Time. I am your host, Jacob Cutler, the Fantasy Guy, and today we have episode number 21 for you. Yes, we got another edition of Meat on the 50. As always, I am joined by one of my best friends, Brandon Sullivan, my partner in this journey, and together we break down the slate of games we have on tap for you. And let me tell you something. If you tuned into last week, you know. If you didn't tune into last week, you should just watch it because we were on a fuego. We were on fire. We could not be stopped. We went a combined 24-4 last week. So you are definitely going to want to tune in for another edition of Meat on the 50. If you like this video, please smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and then just tap on that bell notification. That way, anytime a new video drops, and they drop every Tuesday and Friday, you're right there. You're right there to consume the content because we are always dropping the knowledge, right? It's just right there for you to pick up, shove it in that brain of yours, shake it around, and boom. Better fantasy player, better knowledgeable football human being, right? Because that's what we aim to do. Those are our two missions, basically, right? Because if you're not growing, you are dying. So smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and then just tap on that bell notification. That way you can stay up to date on all the latest content. But without further ado, let's get into it and another edition of Meat on the 50. Here we are again, back for another week of Meat on the 50. As always, joining me to my left, one of my best friends and partner in this journey, Brandon Sullivan. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. How you feeling, Jake? I mean, we had another really good week of football, so that's all we can really ask for.
Yep, another really good week of football. Now, I decided to throw a little bit of a curveball here. Instead of doing our normal recap, let's do this. Give me your top 4 takeaways from Week 6 and your favorite game.
All right, so one takeaway that I've been waiting to talk about was the Broncos and the Panthers. I mean, if you listen to a lot of analysts and you listen to a lot of takes early on in the season, now that we've kind of, like you said, that this extra week, it seems like it just added so much more to the season for some reason. I mean, 17 just looks so much bigger than 16. This is why you can never make these assessments too early in the season, because these two teams appear to be fraudulent in my eyes. You got the Broncos, who started off 3-0, and then you had the Panthers, same. And so it's funny to me because they've lost all 3 games in a row, and now they both have dropped to 3-4. So that's one thing that I've noticed that I just had to talk about, because these teams, I really wasn't buying into them early. I don't know. I just call it how it is. I didn't see it.
I feel it.
I mean, I feel like you could make that assessment late in the season, but that was one thing that I noticed that was like, okay, well, just because you start 3-0 doesn't mean anything. So you got to keep winning games. So and another takeaway was that London game. I actually said I was going to sleep the whole time. I actually woke up partway through it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's some football. So
it was a good game.
It was actually a great game. And I was surprised that kicker that they just signed off the street was able to kick those field goals. What was that?
He went off. This guy, dude. Your first talk about an experience, right? Your first game is in London, and you go off.
It was exciting. It was really exciting, and like we called it, Trevor got his first win, so I'm happy for him because they were on a really big losing streak there. But hopefully this will kind of catapult them into the right direction. So I thought that was awesome. I was definitely happy for them. But we'll see what happens. But yeah. And another takeaway was I kind of have to take back what I said about Mac Jones. I thought he played actually very well. He does look pretty poised for a rookie. I've always kind of bad talked the guy, and maybe it was primarily because I didn't want the 49ers to draft him, just because I didn't want the same type of quarterback. If we were to pick between him and Jimmy, I'd rather keep Jimmy. I don't need to have a quarterback who's similar to Jimmy. So Yeah, no, Mac Jones, he's a good. I mean, he's a decent quarterback so far. I mean, nothing too, he does. I don't think he's like extremely talented, but I think that he's able to help them manage games, and with him in there, I think they have a chance because the Cowboys are one of the best teams in the NFL, and he was going toe to toe with Dak Prescott, so it came down to the wire on that one. So yeah, I was impressed with that, and then the game of the week. And still, the king of the NFL, Derrick Henry. If you do not think he is the best running back in the league, you know nothing about football. I'm sorry. Like, I just, that's one thing where we can make arguments and we can, go back and forth and debate a lot of different topics. But right now, as we speak, this guy is killing it. 143 yards. We discussed the stats after the game.
Yeah,
he's on route to beat the record. I mean, this guy's already got 10 touchdowns. That's incredible. He put them on their back, and I had texted you a few hours prior to game time, and I said, something tells me, even though I picked the Bills, something tells me that the Tennessee Titans are going to win. And man, what a game! That was such a good game to watch. An awesome Monday Night Football game, and I hope we get more like that.
That Monday Night Football game was crazy, and yeah, right for a couple hours before the game, I got the text. He said he had a feeling. He had a feeling that it was gonna happen, and it happened. He called it. He called the shot and nailed it. But my four takeaways. Number one is Lamar Action Jackson. Is here, folks. Lamar Action Jackson is here. I had a feeling Lamar was gonna turn the corner this year, right, and just kind of get better and be kind of that quarterback that we all wanted to see. He's done that and then some. Holy moly! In my opinion, this past week, leapfrogging Justin Herbert in the MVP conversation. He now has a signature win over Kansas City, Denver, who was 3-0 at the time, and the Chargers. People, I think people are sleeping on the Ravens, right? I've been talking a lot about we're going to know how good the Cardinals are by the time they reach the playoffs. We're going to know how good the Ravens are by the time they reach the playoffs, because these two schedules for these two teams, you want to talk about test schedules. These are two test schedules that they got. So Lamar is here, right? And then on the flip side, the team that they're playing, right, the Bengals look like one of the NFL's best teams. What? The Bengals? Yeah. The Bengals. I got to talk about this team for a second. I know it was the Lions, but holy crap, is this team fun to watch. Holy moly, is this team fun to watch. Even if I wasn't a fan, I would enjoy watching this team. The young talent that we see, the growth that we are seeing in the offense and the defense, right? The offense, let me give you some stats real fast, right? The offense has allowed 16 sacks through 7 weeks, right? That meant, some people are like, oh, wow, that's a lot. That is a lot, right? Yes, it is a lot. But let's fast forward, let's backtrack to last year, right? Let's go to week 10 and look at Joey B's stats. He was at 32 sacks through 10 weeks last season. Okay? Yeah, you want to talk about improvement? That is improvement. Oh, I forgot this little tidbit. He finished 9th in the league. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. If you forgot, he was out for the last 6 games. Yeah, a quarterback that was injured the entire last half of the season finished 9th in sacks. Okay? Number 1 was 50. He would have blown that margin out of the water. So, 16 sacks through week 7, I'll take it. I will take it, right? The team has been improving. The Cardinals are a real problem in the NFC. Kyler Murray has this team rolling, right? Now, this kind of seems like this is the first time that we're ever seeing a fully complete Cardinals team, right? Because they're always either really good on defense or really good on offense. It's never, two are never one and the same, right? We've never seen a good Cardinal offense and a good Cardinal defense. We are seeing a good Cardinal offense and a good Cardinal defense. I have to say, hats off to Cliff Kingsbury and that management team for going out, spending the money, signing the players that they need to sign, drafting the players that they need to draft, and getting this team to a competitive standpoint. Because, the turnaround in 2 years from having Kyler, or 2018 I think was his first season, so 3 years now, the turnaround, That's what you want in the NFL. That's exactly what the draft and free agency is designed to do. It's designed that you can have a turnaround for your team. So the Cardinals are a big problem in the NFC. And lastly, I got to talk about them because it was probably one of the biggest wins for the team in the last 10 years, if we really break it down and look at it. But my final take is the Raiders. Yes, so this win this past Sunday it carries a lot more weight than a lot of people understand. Derek Carr and the Raiders responded, right? They responded in a big way, not only scoring for the first time in the first quarter, scoring for the first time on the first drive all season long. It looked like John had a lot of these skill players locked up in a dungeon, lonely, chained to a wall. Help me, please, help me, I want to play, right? And then they finally are freed, and what happens? They all go off. I mean, everybody on the offense contributed last week. So I truly believe that John was holding all of these guys back. We're going to find out for sure the rest of this season, but what they did in Denver, who may be the fakest team in the NFC, or who is the fakest team in the NFC, who may be the fakest team in the NFL, was very, very eye-opening, right? The Raiders look good. That's how you respond, right? Under any circumstances, or under the circumstances that were presented to them, very impressive. Very impressive win. Tennessee Titans and the Buffalo Bills was your favorite game on Monday, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
My favorite game on Monday was the Minnesota Vikings and the Carolina Panthers. That game was crazy. How Kirk was able to come back after Sam made a comeback after a crazy comeback by the Panthers. Then you had Kirk, who was able to get the job done. Kirk is rolling. Again, the Vikings have some bad fortune because they could easily be 6-1 this season. Easily be 6-1. So the Minnesota Vikings are a team to watch this season. I mean, good for them. It's good to see. I'm glad to see Kirk is finally having some success and people are finally on his side. So that's good to see. With that being said, moving on to the new week, right? Like a newspaper, we're flipping the page, right? But first, we got to go over the results for last week. Let's put the results up on the screen. All right. Let's talk about last week, right? But first, let's see if this works. I don't know if you guys were following last week, but here on Fantasy Time, we killed it. We took last week and we just butchered it. Made sure we got every single piece that we could take from last week and make sure we spread it to everybody because we dominated. Let's see how we did, right? Let's see how we did. Let's start with you. Let's put it up on the screen. Woo-hoo-hoo. Look at that. We're going 11-3. Woo! Going 1-0 on your guaranteed victory. Unstoppable when it comes to picking these guaranteed victories. I mean, you pick it, it's gonna happen. It is gonna happen. How you feeling about last week?
Man, just the way the tides turned from the week before. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, we just were spot on with our picks. And the guaranteed victory, just, we both were able to get that one. So that's awesome. I was super stoked to see, hey, I mean, we might have to start playing these parlays. I see all these parlays, like, man, if we just pick like 7 or 8 games and they're all, they come through and they win, we could get a big payout. I mean, I'm feeling like, hey, follow our picks, man. We're getting better and better with it. I mean, as the season goes on, this is kind of what I anticipated. I thought we'd kind of, know these teams' identities and kind of better be able to predict. I mean, there's always going to be those one-offs, but I thought that this week was amazing with our picks.
Yeah, I mean, they were going off. I mean, I'm telling you, right? You say the pick is going to happen, it's going to happen. So we'll see. I'm curious to see. I think I have a guess on who's going to be your guaranteed victory this week, but we will find out. Let me pull up the overall scores here. For the overall scores, that puts you at a very, very pretty 54-40. I told you that separation between the wins and the losses, it's growing. It is growing every single week. Let's put it up on it. Let's make it official. Boom, 6-0 on the guaranteed victories. On fire right now with the guaranteed victories. On fire. All right. Looking at my week, right? I said I needed a bounce back week last week. I wanted a bounce back week. Well, we bounced back with some straight fuego, son. Put it up on the screen. Let everybody see it. 13-1. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. You want to challenge me? Come on. Bring it on, son. I'll handle you. I will handle you. We were on fire last week. On fire. Going 1-0 for our guaranteed victory. Had that double guaranteed victory last week with the Rams. What a week. What a week, right? Overall, for the season, putting me at 61-33. That looks so beautiful. Looks so beautiful. And for the guaranteed victories, as long as we keep it positive, right? 4-2, I'll take it. 4-2 on the guaranteed victories. And we are looking to have another solid week this week. So let's flip the page. Let's get this going. Starting us off. We got 13 games this week, all right? We got 13 games this week with the Bills, the Cowboys, the Vikings, the Steelers, the Chargers, and the Jaguars being all on the bye. All right, so we got a light week in terms of games, but I don't think we got a light week in terms of action. So starting us off, for us tomorrow, for everybody else yesterday, we are going to see the Denver Broncos travel to Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Browns. Major bounce back game for both teams. What do you got for me?
It looks like Baker Mayfield's not going to be playing, so it's going to be Case Keenum starting for the Cleveland Browns. However, I think that he's good enough at home in Cleveland to get this, to handle business against the Broncos because, like I said, I believe that they're fraudulent. Until you guys win and prove me, hey, this is just a speculation. Until you guys start winning, you guys can prove me wrong. I welcome it. So I think that I won't be watching this one. Very underwhelming. But Browns, Broncos, I got Browns winning this one, 31-24.
Okay. And a major bounce back game for both teams with Denver dropping the last 3, Cleveland dropping the last 2, right? So both teams desperately need a win here. I think with all the injuries that the Browns are sustaining right now, right? Baker's now out. The starting running backs are now out. I don't even know who's going to run the ball for them. Odell is hurt. Jarvis may be coming back from injury. But I think with all those injuries, I think this plays right into the Denver Broncos' hands to get back on track, to show, hey, we're not that fake. We're kind of fake. We're somewhat fake, but we're not that fake. So I think Denver Broncos take advantage of that, winning 28-24 in a hard-fought victory in the Midwest. Moving on to Sunday. Sunday morning, we got the Washington football team traveling to Wisconsin, the cheese state, to try some cheddar, some Wisconsin-aged cheddar, which is Green Bay Packers. So we got the Washington football team taking on the Green Bay Packers. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I think as the season goes on, Washington kind of has been slipping a little bit. Not going to go, I can't be picking them anymore. I don't even know if I did, but I don't have any real faith in that team. I think that, I think Heineke he's all right, but he's not going to get the job done. So Green Bay's on a roll. They're at Lambeau Field. Hard to pick against that combination of the fact of Aaron Rodgers and Lambeau Field. Taking the Packers here in a blowout, 35-17.
Yeah, Washington is on a major struggle bus right now. Major struggle bus. Can't get any momentum going. Suffering from some injuries, and Aaron Rodgers and the Packers have a firm stranglehold on that North Division right now. So I think this is going to be a fairly easy victory at home against Washington, who is struggling, who, like I said in the Tuesday video, I think we've seen Taylor Heineke reach his ceiling. which is unfortunate because the kids got heart, but I think this is as good as it's really going to get. So Green Bay Packers 35-14 and an easy win. Our next game, and the game that I know you are excited for because you told me, we got the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Music City, Nashville, to take on the Tennessee Titans. What do you got for me?
Well, I got Tennessee in an upset here. I do think Tennessee handling business against the Bills shows that they do have some resiliency, and they continue to fight throughout that entire game. My thing is Kansas City, I don't think has a good enough defense to contain Derrick Henry, and that's the main X factor here. So I definitely have to pick the Tennessee Titans. I think it'll be a close one, but I think it'll be a hard-fought win. I think Tennessee wins this one 28-24.
Ooh, I'm with you. I got the Tennessee Titans in this one, and a win that very well may have salvaged that season for the Titans on Monday. Looking at their whole season, it's a very disappointing season, but a win like that can start up that engine, get that car going, get its butt down the road, right? To echo what you said, I'm glad you said it because I would have looked like a fool if you didn't say it, but to echo what you said, I don't know who on that defense is stopping the bulldozer or the steamroller, which is Derrick Henry, unless you're going to Cat or John Deere to rent one. The only thing I think is going to stop this man is a physical bulldozer. So I don't think you are stopping him. I don't know who's stopping him on that team. And I think Des Bryant has it right? Derrick Henry is the Madden character that we all create when we're young to absolutely just dominate defenses. He has legit come to life, and his name is Derrick Lamar Henry Jr. The man is the best back in the league, and I'm going to say it because I don't care. He's going to be one of the best backs of all time. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? Derrick Henry is the man. So I got Tennessee Titans 35-24. Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl hangover is real, right? Everyone talks about the Madden curse. Super Bowl hangover is just as real. We got another, moving on to the next game. We got a decent game. On paper, it doesn't look like it's going to be a great game, but this has some implications for one team here. We got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Miami Dolphins. What do you got for me?
Well, I had to pick up. I went ahead and picked up Matt Ryan in one of my fantasy leagues because he was one of the only players that was left. But I think this is going to be a good matchup for him.
I like it.
I think the Dolphins are starting to falter a little bit. I think that their defense is giving up a lot of points, and I think Tua is also not playing extremely well. So I am going to pick the Falcons to win this game. I think they win this one. I think they win this one in a close one. I'm going to pick them 24-21.
Yes, so like I said, this game has some big implications for one team, and that team is the Atlanta Falcons. Because if you're following along in that division, the Carolina Panthers have fallen off. They're done for. So number 2, wide open again. Because number 1 clearly going to the Bucks. No one's going to beat them. Number 2 was going to be the Panthers. Now it's wide open, right? So this is the opportunity for the Falcons. This is the opportunity for the Falcons to respond. However, Tua is back. And from what I saw last week, he is the one in charge of this offense. Clearly, Jacoby Brissett did not know what to do in this offense. Tua knows how to manage this offense and score points within this offense, even if they lost to Jacksonville. So with Tua back, I think they work. I think it works. So I think they're able to make it a decent season. They're having a horrible season right now, but I think they're able to make it a decent season. 7-10, 8-9. I'm not talking about, they're going to compete in that division. I don't think so. But I think that they have the chance to make it a respectable season now that Tua is back, seems healthy, seems to have a good grasp on that offense, good chemistry on that offense. Even whatever happens this year, though, unfortunately, it seems like Brian Flores most likely is going to get fired after this season. Stupidly, but that's most likely what's going to happen. Moving on to the next game, we got a rematch of a game that happened earlier on in the season. We got the New York Jets traveling to Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots, the Battle of the Rookies 2.0. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I was just impressed what I saw out of New England as a unit last week against a really, really good Dallas Cowboys team. So, yeah, I just think the Jets, they continue to struggle. I don't think that they're going to beat New England at home. I think New England's defense does enough to contain that offense, and I think it's a close one. I am picking, I think it's a low score. I'm going to pick New England to win this one 23-14.
Nice. So close. Okay, in a rematch of the rookie QBs, right? Mac, once again, gets the best of Zach, right? Mac to Zach, beats Zach again. He starts off his career 2-0 against them. Jets look abysmal. Patriots look decent. That defense looks really good from what they were able to do against Dallas, right? They gave Dallas everything that they could possibly handle. It just took a ridiculous throw and route from Dak and CeeDee to win that game. But the New England Patriots, under Mac's quarterbacking, they don't look like Super Bowl contenders, but they definitely look like a competitive team. They look like they can compete in games, so that's nice to see. So we shall see. But I got New England 24-14. You couldn't just had to make the extra point. You really had to go 13. Jeez Louise. All right, next up, we got the Carolina Panthers traveling to the Big Apple to take on the New York Giants. What do you got for me?
Well, I got the Panthers bouncing back here. I think the Giants are one of the worst teams in the NFL. Unfortunately for them, but maybe at some point it's just they've had really, really bad. They've had a slew of injuries. They've had a lot of bad luck, and they haven't had a lot of good luck go their way. So I think the Panthers are able to bounce back here. I think they win this one, 31-21.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got the Panthers because I feel for the Panthers, right? To start out undefeated, you start out so strong, your defense is humming, your offense is rolling, and then boom, out of nowhere, the injury bus just comes along and just smacks half of your team, right? Most of your defensive starters on IR or out, and then the guy who, let's be honest, gets that offense going, who is the heart and soul of that team, which is Christian McCaffrey, with him being gone, with this hamstring injury that is re-aggravated, that's a big loss. That is a big loss. That is, some people say that the quarterbacks is the heart and soul of the team. No, for that particular team, it wins and loses whether Christian McCaffrey is in that game. That's how big of an effect that he has on teams. I think they have the perfect team, though, to get that bounce back win, to right the ship, get you back on track. You have a major struggling New York Giant team, a seriously injured New York Giants team. So I got Carolina and Sam Darnold, who has a crap load of heart, handling the Giants, 35-21. Our next game, the last game of the morning, which clearly should probably be the best game of the morning. We got the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Maryland on the water, Baltimore, to take on the Baltimore Ravens. What do you got for me?
Yeah, probably not going to like this pick, but I got to go with the Ravens after what I've been seeing out of Lamar Jackson. I mean, I think it'll be a close game. I just think that, it being in Baltimore plays a big factor here. I think that if it was in Cincinnati, I'd have to take a little bit longer to make this pick, but I just think the Ravens are able to get this done, and I think they win it 35-28. I think that it's back and forth, but the Ravens kind of seal the deal in a, maybe one of the final drives in the fourth quarter.
In what definitely, in my opinion, is the game of the morning, we have an epic matchup right now. Two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL currently going at it. I'm curious to see that Ravens defense, right? Specifically those corners. I'm curious to see how they respond and how that defense responds, because they were on fire last week against the Chargers. I'm curious to see how those corners handle Jamar, right? And if they're able to take Jamar out of the game, I'm curious to see if Joe can facilitate the ball to Tyler and T, which he was doing beginning, but now it seems like he's relying a little bit too much on Jamar. He's relying a little bit too much on that long ball. So this could be an interesting game to see him utilize his other receivers, his other weapons that he has on the team. With that being said, though, I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals, baby! 35-34. And you know what? To top it off, guaranteed victory, son. We're calling it guaranteed victory. 35-34. Bengals, baby. I stand by my team. I'm not afraid to put my money where my mouth is. You see these? These are imaginable chips. Sliding them all into the table right there, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Cincinnati Bengals getting the job done. Getting the job done in Baltimore, just like they were able to do in Pittsburgh. Two different teams, still two big wins that we need to get on the road to take that next step. And what I think is the key here, I think the key is that Packers game. I think the Bengals are going to use that Packers game, realize that we should have won that game, and get the job done. So Bengals, 35-34 with a guaranteed victory. Moving on to the afternoon games. Our first afternoon game is the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the newly formed, right, Las Vegas Raiders. What do you got for me?
Yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders, they played well under, a lot of controversy last week, so that was impressive. The Eagles they've been playing okay, but they're just, me in my eyes, they're kind of a mediocre team. I think that they still have a long way to go, a lot of growing to do since they have such a young team. I expect Las Vegas to win this game here at home. I think it'll be, a close game. I think they'll create some separation in the fourth quarter, though. I do have them winning this one, 35-24.
Yeah! Finally, we got one. Here we go. Back on it. We got the Las Vegas Raiders, right? I'll say it all season long, right? The Eagles are not good, but Jalen Hurts is good. With that being said, though, I'm looking for this Raider team who showed up last week to show up this week, right? I know that is a rarity for the Raiders to show up with the same team week in and week out. I know they're not normally used to doing that, but hey, the cancer seems to be gone. Let's see if we can flip over a new image, right? Turn over a new leaf. So I think we get to see the actual Raiders offense, the one that was chained to the wall, because John just didn't want to utilize them because he's stuck in the 90s. So I think that we get to see the Raiders actually utilize their offense, utilize their weapons, get a big win, 35-24. Woo! There it is, baby. We got one. All right, moving on to the next game. We got the Detroit Lions. Oh, man. I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry, man. The Detroit Lions taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Oh, what do you got for me on this one?
And it hurts me to say it just because I know how much of a blue-collar team the Lions are. I know how hard they fought, how much adversity they fought through, and they just continue to try to fight even though their season is kind of essentially over. I've never seen a team 0-5, 0-6 really come back and make the playoffs and make noise. They have a lot of heart, and it sucks that I have to pick the Rams here because, I don't see any way that the Lions go into SoFi Stadium and beat this elusive Rams offense. I think that's the issue. You're not going to be able to contain this offense, and that defensive line is going to continue to give their quarterback struggles. I'm not sure if Jared Goff's going to start. I don't know if Jared Goff's going to be pulled halfway through this game. I mean, it was pretty brutal what Campbell said about him, but he had to be honest. You just don't really see head coaches come out and say that a lot. So, man, yeah, I feel so bad for the team. It just seems like it's the same thing with the Lions. It's just they can never, ever get it together. It's just always 0-6, 0-7. They always lose. They're just always lose. Like, when you think of one NFL team that always loses, the first team that comes to mind is the Lions, unfortunately, and I do like them. So, but unfortunately, I got to pick the Rams here in a blowout. I think they win this one 38-17.
Yeah. Come on. Who's picking the Lions here? Who's picking the Lions in this game?
Yeah.
I mean, what? Come on. Let's be real here. We're going Los Angeles Rams in his return to LA, where everyone. Wait. Oh, sorry. Nobody wants to see his return. We got Jared Goff getting absolutely eaten in his return against his former team in a stadium that he never even got to play in. Sucks to be him. It's not going to be pretty. The only thing I'm excited for about this game is another Dan Campbell press conference, because the last two have been awesome, right? We got the one with the emotion, and the other one when he just absolutely despises Jared Goff with every fiber of his being, and he's counting the days until he no longer has to look at his face. You can believe that. So I got the Los Angeles Rams 42-17 and an absolute blowout at home to send the Lions to 0-7. Our next game up, we have the Houston Dumpster Fire Texans traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Houston Dumpster Fire Texans, Arizona Cardinals. What do you got for me?
Every time I even look at this, I just start laughing. Like, it's just, I mean, I feel, I mean, I don't want to be insulting here, but can you just forfeit the game because just to avoid injuries or further, like, bringing, like, goal? Yeah, this is my guaranteed victory here. There was no question when I looked at the schedule this week which one was going to be my guaranteed victory. No way. There is no way on this planet, in this universe, any way that the Texans go into Arizona. Because I was there, okay? I know how loud it gets. There is no way, because there's not going to be any Texans fans there, okay? There's not going to be any Texans fans there. It's just going to be ridiculous. Yeah, they're 6-0, like, I think for the first time ever. You know, I may be wrong, but maybe one other time they've been 6-0, which is not in our lifetime. So, so it's irrelevant. If it was in 1972, irrelevant, because we're in 2021. So, if it happened 50 years ago, not on my radar. They are going to easily go to 7-0. I got them winning this one, 45-10.
In what should be an absolute blowout. I mean, a blowout to the 20th degree blowouts. I don't think you can get an easier game for the team. And quite honestly, they deserve it. You know, finally, the Cardinals get a break on their schedule. But, is it one of those games? Is it a trap game? No, it's not a trap game. Don't even worry about it, folks. This game is over before it even gets started, right? Now, can I see the Cardinals kind of overlooking the Texans? Sure, right? And that may cause a competitive game. That may. But let's be honest. Let's be real, okay? Let's be honest here. Everybody on that Cardinals team is going to have a big game. DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray, we got James Conner, Chase Edmonds, Christian Kirk, all of them. And I forgot. They just also traded for a Pro Bowl tight end. His name is Zach Ertz. Oh yeah, he's going to be involved in the offense now too. Just when you think that they can't get any better, they go out and get better. So that's what you got to do if you want to be a championship team. So we are going to see the debut of Zach Ertz, I believe, this Sunday. I know he was ineligible last week, but I believe he can play this week. So I think Zach Ertz gets his debut, and I'm going to say I think he gets a score. I think Kyler Murray helps him out, introduces him to the fans with a big-time touchdown. Arizona Cardinals 42-10. Absolute blowout. Our next game, we got the Chicago Bears traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I got Tom continuing his march back to at least the NFC Championship, if not the Super Bowl. The only reason why I say at least the NFC Championship is because that's going to be one hell of a game if it is Tampa Bay versus Arizona. I'd love to see that. So I hope to see that. I hope that happens in the postseason, just because those are the two teams that have just been wreaking havoc in the NFC.
Lighten it up.
I do have Tampa Bay winning this one pretty easily here. I think the Bears I think they're an okay team, but I think that they've proven that they are more in the mid range. I don't think that they're anywhere near in the upper echelon of the NFC. So got Tom Brady doing really well in this game. I think he puts up a few touchdowns, puts up at least 400 yards. Got them winning this one, 35-17.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, this game was kind of a meh to me when I saw it. You know, it has the makings to be, you know, a Tampa Bay Philadelphia game where it's kind of back and forth. But I think, yeah, I think this game is kind of the same thing as last game. We kind of all know how this game's going to go. Everyone expects the Buccaneers to win. I would be shocked if the Bears pull this out. I would be shocked if Justin Fields beats Tom Brady. I would be shocked. So I got Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're too much for the Bears. Handling them 35-24 in a back and forth game. It's going to be competitive, but I think Tom comes out on top. In the night game, right? We're on the night game, correct? Yes. In the night game, we got the game that you will be in attendance to. We got the Indianapolis Colts traveling to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers. Hey, 49ers, fix your freaking Uber problem so people can get home, all right? Jeez Louise. We got the Indianapolis Colts taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Sunday Night Football. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to avoid the Uber situation. I'm going to just get on the light rail. We're just going to make that simple. We're going to make that easy. We're going to see how the weather is because it's supposed to rain. I hope it doesn't. I hope that maybe it's a light drizzle. I just don't want to be dealing with getting in and out of a stadium with rain and light rail and just, yeah. So, no, I think that the bye week will serve us very well. I think the Colts are coming off a big victory, but, I do think that the 49ers are going to be playing at home. The defense is always electric. I think we have one of the best defenses in the NFC. So, if not, top 10 in the NFL, just as far as what I've read. So our defensive line is playing very well. Our linebacking core is playing very well. And we'll have Jimmy back supposedly. So I think that's really good. Like I said, I think Trey Lance needs a little bit more grooming. I think he needs to sit behind Jimmy a little bit longer just to kind of see the ins and outs and kind of how we do our audibles and kind of learning Kyle's playbook a little bit more. I think that'll be best served. So if we can get Jimmy back in this game, I'd be excited for that, just to see him again. I think the 49ers are able to win this one. I think that I think this is going to be a close game. But I am going to pick the 49ers to win this one 31-27.
Ooh, we got a high-scoring game. So I think the Colts have a decent chance in this game. I think the Colts have a decent chance with the emergence of Jonathan Taylor, with the return of T.Y. Carson's playing somewhat better, not amazing, but, and it's always that big but, the Niners are going to use this off week, right the ship, get people healthy, focused, ready, prepared for this game on Sunday night. This is a big game. Niners, this is kind of almost a must-win for the Niners if they want to keep pace with the Rams and the Cardinals in that division and just within that wild card chatter. So this is a big game for the Niners. So I think the Niners, with that extra week to prepare, there's really no excuse for losing this game. So therefore, I got the Niners coming out on top at home. I'm hoping for another Sunday night thriller, right? The only dud this year has been the Bills and Chiefs. Every other game has been a one-score game coming down to the final play of the game, basically. We're witnessing a special season in terms of primetime games. That is for sure. I got the San Francisco 49ers winning this time, splitting their Sunday night football record this season, going 1-1, but I got them winning 24-21, beating the Colts. And on Monday, our last game, I told you guys it's going to be quick week. On Monday, we got the New Orleans Saints taking on, at home, the Seattle Seahawks. They're traveling up to Washington, traveling up to the Apple State. I think that's the state, that's their nickname. We got the New Orleans Saints taking on the Seattle Seahawks. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I think the Saints are going to come off their bye week, and I think they go into Seattle and get a pretty easy victory here. I mean, I think that, it's probably a close first half, but I think that the Saints stay in control this entire game. I just don't think that Geno Smith has what it takes, and he's good for a backup. I mean, I'll give him that. He's a good backup, but I just don't think he has what it takes to, lead them to many victories here. So I think that the Saints, they're 3-2. They're not a bad team. I mean, they've had their ups and downs, but I think that they're good enough to beat this struggling Seattle team. And I mean, if it wasn't for gimmicks, they wouldn't have even had a chance. These gimmicks kept them in the game. I mean, I just feel like, and to me, Jamal Adams overrated. That's the one person who's been running his mouth, and I haven't seen much out of him. And all I'm saying is I'm pointing that out. If he starts playing better, then I have nothing to say. But he is a little ridiculous with how good he thinks he is, and just all of that, because I haven't seen much. I haven't seen much out of that defense, to be honest. So I thought the defense played okay last week, but I don't expect them to have their defense doesn't play well consistently. So I don't see them playing well against New Orleans. I got New Orleans winning this game 28-20.
Ooh, yeah, Seattle continues to be one of the luckiest teams of all time with the way they were able to pull off OT last week. Straight pulled it out of their asses. Geno didn't look bad, right? He didn't look bad, which was kind of surprising after he didn't start a game for whatever the stat was, 5 or 6 years. But some ball security issues. Other than that, I mean, the only thing that kept him from winning the game was that strip sack there at the end by TJ Watt in OT. Other than that, Geno Smith played well. He played well. But Jameis coming off the bye with that extra week to prepare, rested and ready. Everyone looks ready to go. Everyone seems healthy on that team, besides a certain somebody who no one even knows where he is, by the name of Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly. Funny you pointed that out. I totally forgot about that.
He'll be on a new team next year. But I think Jameis coming off the bye, rested and ready. I got a thrilling game. These primetime games so far have been thrilling games. So I'm going New Orleans Saints 28-27. I got a back and forth game. Geno Smith probably coming out good. I think that offense looks decent. I think the Saints defense shuts down that passing game. It's going to be more of a running game for the Seahawks. But I think New Orleans Saints comes out on top, looking tough, looking strong, beating the Seattle Seahawks, who are probably going to go winless. I'm hoping they go winless with Russ's absence, because they do not look like a good team. They do not look like a good team. And that is gonna do it for another edition of Meat on the 50. Right? As always, Brendan and I want to thank you, everybody, for investing your time each week, watching the videos, just tuning in for our picks, taking down our analysis, right? Taking down our predictions, our thoughts, all of that good stuff, right? Brandon, any last words?
Yeah, no, I appreciate everybody's support, and I appreciate you hosting and having me on your show. I mean, this is something I've always wanted to do. It's super fun. I enjoy doing this every week, and I sure that people enjoy, our takes, and it's been fun. It's been a fun ride, and obviously we'll continue to evolutionize what we're doing. There might be different types of videos, new things, but just having the new takes this week, that was super cool, because it had us think outside the box and kind of encapsulate what we saw last week. So that was awesome. But yeah, no, just looking forward to going to another game, being in attendance at another NFL game. I'm very blessed. That'll be the third game I'll be able to go to this year, because last year we were wiped. We couldn't go to any. So I'm very happy about that. Being in the rain, regardless, whatever it is, excited to go to that game, and excited to see another week.
I like it. All righty. Right? Just like I said last week, just like I say every week, we can give you all of our thoughts, all of our predictions, all of our analysis, all of our expectations. But at the end of the day, it is on these guys to lace up their shoes, put on that equipment, take the field, and play the game, right? We have no control over who wins and loses, but we can only give you our well thought out analysis on it. For another episode of Meat on the 50, that is one of my best friends, Brandon Sullivan. I am Jacob Cutler, and we shall see you guys next week. Alrighty, and that will do it for this week's edition of Meat on the 50. Again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. As always, I want to thank you guys, the audience. I want to thank one of my best friends, Brandon, for his time, his analysis, his opinions, his predictions, his expectations, everything. So thank him for that. And again, tune in. We were on fire last week. We are hoping to get on fire this week. You are not going to want to miss any one of those picks because we got some bangers of some games on tap for you this week. So if you like this video, please smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, and then just tap on that bell notification. That way, anytime a new video drops, and they drop every Tuesday and Friday, you're right there. You're right there to consume the content, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're always dropping the knowledge. It's right there for you to pick up, shove it in that brain of yours, shake it around, and boom. Better fantasy player, better knowledgeable football human being, right? Because if you're not growing, you are dying. So smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, tap on that bell notification. Follow us on Twitter at FantasyTime2021. Follow us on Facebook at The Fantasy Guy 2021. And then follow us on YouTube at FantasyTime2021. All three ways you can stay in contact with us, stay up to date with us, and then linked in the description down below is the Google Sheets, right? There's a Google Sheets for the Meat on the 50, right? There's a Google Sheets for everything. I got you guys all covered with all the information. So the Google Sheets for Meat on the 50, where I'm updating our picks weekly, right? And the overall records, everything that we talk about in this video is on that Google Sheets. You can just click on that doc, follow along with your picks, with our picks, right? Comment your picks. Just let us know. Get in contact with us some way. Let us know what you are expecting this week, right? We want to hear from you. So all three ways you can get in contact with us, right? Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. All three ways, right? And then the Google Sheets down below. Download it, copy it, follow along, and then enjoy the ride. For this edition of Meat on the 50, another episode of Fantasy Time in the books. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Cutler, the Fantasy Guy. And until next time, Jacob Cutler is out.